The courage to take the leap of faith, theistic existentialism. Theism, the view that all limited or finite things are dependent in some way on one supreme or ultimate reality, of which one may also speak in personal terms, in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This ultimate reality is often called God. Existentialism is a philosophy that emphasizes individual existence, freedom, and choice. It is the view that humans define their own meaning in life and try to make rational decisions despite existing in an irrational universe. It focuses on the question of human existence and the feeling that there is no purpose or explanation at the core of existence. It holds that, as there is no God or any other transcendent force, the only way to counter this nothingness is by embracing existence. Thus, existentialism believes that individuals are entirely free and must take personal responsibility for themselves. It therefore emphasizes action, freedom, and decision as fundamental, and holds that the only way to rise above the essentially absurd condition of humanity, which is characterized by suffering and inevitable death, is by exercising our personal freedom and choice. Soren Kierkegaard, the Knight of Faith, was a Danish philosopher, theologian, poet, social critic, and religious author who is widely considered to be the first existentialist philosopher. He wrote critical texts on organized religion, Christendom, morality, ethics, psychology, and the philosophy of religion, displaying fondness for metaphor, irony, and parables. Much of his philosophical work deals with the issues of how one lives as a single individual, giving priority to concrete human reality over abstract thinking and highlighting the importance of personal choice and commitment. He specifically questioned the assumptions of the conclusions of holistic philosophical system such as the one laid out by Hegel. Hegelian thought the absolute was prioritized at the expense of individual freedom and significance. One's life is meaningful only upon looking at the great scheme of things. Individual stories do not matter except only in the way they contribute to the fulfillment of the absolute spirit. Kierkegaard sought for truth that one could live by arising from his personal experiences. He was a personal thinker and therefore was not doing philosophy the way it ought to have been done during his time. His characteristic questioning and reference to his own life experiences became a trademark of later existential writers. He contemplated on life and realized that one easily falls in despair. Happiness is difficult to obtain, and the meaning of life is very elusive. There is a solution to this which one can choose over suicide. One can take the leap of faith and enter into a mode of existence away from despair. Three mode of existence away from despair. Aesthetic mode. The person in this mode is the aesthete. He or she seeks pleasure alone and nothing else matters but the pursuit of it. Everything interesting and pleasurable is sought for intently. Since interesting and pleasurable experiences lose novelty Once they have been experienced, the aesthete always seeks for something new. Ethical modes. Ethics are the social rules that govern how a person ought to act. Ethics are not always in opposition to aesthetics, but they must take precedence when the two conflict. The aesthetic life must be subordinated to the ethical life. As the, as the ethical life is based on a consistent, coherent set of rules established for the good of society, a person can still experience pleasure while living the ethical life. The ethical life serves the purpose of allowing diverse people to coexist in harmony and causes individuals to act for the good of society. The ethical person considers the effect his or her actions will have on others and gives more weight to promoting social welfare than to achieving personal gain. Ethical mood. The ethical person is exemplified by Socrates, who extolled the powers of reason and favored the universal over the particular. He committed himself not to the pursuit of temporary pleasure, but to the universal, objective, and timeless laws of morality. However, such person also eventually experiences dread because of the recognition of the sin. Thus, the ethical person becomes the tragic hero. He or she may decide to abandon his or her commitment to the universal. Yet, instead of falling into despair, one can take again a leap of faith to the next highest mode of existence, the religious mode. Religious mode. Kierkegaard considers the religious life to be the highest plane of existence. He also believes that almost no one lives a truly religious life. He is concerned in how to lead an authentically religious life while surrounded by people who are falsely religious. For Kierkegaard, the relationship with God is exclusively personal, and he believed that the large-scale religion of the church distracts people from that personal relationship. Kierkegaard passionately criticized the Christian church for what he saw as its interference in the personal spiritual quest each true Christian must undertake. Kierkegaard considered Abraham to be the model of the religious state. Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son Isaac because God asked him to do. Abraham, for Kierkegaard, became the knight of time. The knight of faith cannot be judged according to the universal law of morality, which the tragic hero suffers. He or she defines the objective in order to fulfill the subjective. Abraham's decision goes beyond moral labels and judgments. In this particular situation, this absolute leap of faith is the only real source of meaning, which will save the one from permanent despair. One sustains this leap through the intensely passionate way of living. Such is the only time one can truly exist. Friedrich Nietzsche, Beyond Good and Evil. Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche was a German philosopher, cultural critic, composer, poet, philologist, and Latin and Greek scholar whose work has exerted a profound influence on modern intellectual history. He developed a critique of philosophy that was once subversive and innovative. His way of philosophizing itself, mostly polemics against traditional philosophy and Christianity, was very novel. He defied the conventional method and format of philosophy, that his status as a philosopher was questioned. He was considered more of a critic of his time rather than a philosopher. Niche ideas. One must stay on the ground and affirm this life. not the other life beyond this world. To preach about death and afterlife is to deny this life. One weary of this life longs for another ideal life, of which has no way of ascertaining if such life exists. To be authentic, one must accept this life and revel in it, to affirm its joys and sorrows. His battle cry, live dangerously, to seize the day and to embrace the consequences of such passionate way of living. To do this, one cannot go by the ordinary standards of morality that followed by the mediocrity. One must rise above this and go beyond good and evil, transvaluing existing values. Nietzsche shows values as changing from time to time. They are not inherently good or bad, but are made to be so. Questioning why the good is considered good will only expose the hidden agenda of the majority. Nietzsche does this to the hidden virtue of pity and charity and shows that they are actually decadent values, fit only for those who are afraid to live life. Acknowledgement, contents taken from Exploring the Philosophical Terrain, edited by Lenny B.I.R. Garcia, published by C&A Publishing Incorporated, 2013. Thank you.